it wasn't all roses and beauty. There were some problems we had along the way, so we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the mistakes and lessons.
So this was one of our very first mistakes. You can see up in the top left there. Before the company was called TechStreet, it was called, we went through this long naming process, and this is what we came up with in 1994. Custom Standard Services. Great name, huh? Maybe it is a good name. Anybody like that name? No. Don't go through the process we went to come up with that name. It's painful now because 1994, I mean, we could have had anything we wanted. We could have had cars.com. We could have had, I mean, you could have bought the sex.com domain in 1994, right? And we decided Custom Standard Services. So that was the big mistake number one. So there were obviously a lot of other mistakes. You know, the number one thing that we should have done is come up with a better name and logo. We still disagree about this today. We're trying to come up with a new name, a name for the new company. We kind of have a code name for it, but I really think, and I think you tend to agree, that the name really needs to be, you know, it doesn't need to be super clever or, you know, a name that's memorable, but it needs to evoke something, evoke some emotions, some memorable emotions that people are going to associate with your brand. It needs to be brandable. You know, there's a whole long story about coming up with names and logos, but that was really our first mistake.
Second mistake.
So branding matters, yes, go ahead.
Second mistake, hire smarter, fire faster. As we were growing and we were trying to bring in those people to help us out, the first financial person we hired, he's a guitar teacher in Ann Arbor. Really, really nice guy, great musician, not a financial person, not the right guy to hire for that job. And it obviously to you guys seems like duh, but for us at the time we were trying to save money and that was the wrong place to save it. Hiring the right people, spending the right money, it's much like writing that check that I talked about a few minutes ago. Get the value that you need, the people that you need. On the flip side of things, there are some people that don't work out. We always made our best efforts to try to help them succeed, but what we learned along the way was if it wasn't succeeding from our perspective, it often wasn't succeeding from their perspective either. They were frustrated, they were challenged, it wasn't the job they'd hoped for. And honestly, we held on to some folks too long. And it was a mutual relief when we actually made that change and said, it's not working out, it's time to go. It's never fun, it's never easy, but we needed to do it faster and we got a little bit better at doing it faster.